Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Brahmanande, Hari, Hari Bol. Vandeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Panuga Prabharam Vrajala Sarasigang Chanarayanam Tang Prapanam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prastaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktiram Cha Kripa Murti Narayanam Seva Kunje Praderam Ye Govardhane Girosara Radha Kunde Rasanande Tattat Seva Pradayakam Gurung Narayanakyam Tang Vande Vinoda Prestakam Yat Parasmriti Matrena Dhamudara Prasidhati Namo Mahavarandaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Vishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaskute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Bola Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my obeisances. All this time to my most worshipful Guru Bharat Padma Param Aratitamasto Tarata Shishmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Swami Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Likewise to the entire Rupanuga, Gaudiya Guru Varga and all assembled devotees, please accept my humble pranams. So today, by the request of Hari Prabhu, we will continue our discussion of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as part of our Krishna Prem Academy. So, yesterday we discussed Buddhi Yoga, how to become resolute in our one-pointed devotional service with fixed intelligence, Vyavasyatmika Buddhi. So Arjuna, after hearing Krishna speak the first 30-40 verses, why? Krishna began speaking in chapter 2, from text 2, and then Arjuna spoke a few verses, and then Krishna spoke about Atma Tattva for about 20 verses, and then he spoke about Buddhi Yoga for about 15 verses. So then, after hearing this discussion of the nature of the soul and how to perform Buddhi Yoga, Arjuna had a question come in his mind. And so then Arjuna asked, Stita pragyasa kabasa samadhistasya keshava stitati king prabhaseta king asita brajeta kim. Verse 54 of chapter 2, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asked, Stita pragyasa kabasa, what is the language and the nature of the speech of the sadhu, stita pragyasaka vasa, samadhistasya keshava. How are they fixed in samadhi or divine trance? Stita diking prabhaseta, or how do they speak? How do they behave with others? Stita diking prabhaseta, how is their intelligence fixed? King asita prajeta kim, how do they sit and how do they walk? So Arjuna is asking for very specific details about the nature of a Stita Pragya sage. Stita Pragya means, Krishna described the characteristics of someone who is fixed in Buddhi Yoga and serving the absolute truth with a steady mind, without material attachments. Krishna described that. So Arjuna was thinking, how can I recognize such a person? How can I recognize a sadhu? And this is very important in our lives. Not only did Arjuna ask this to Krishna, but we see in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, the devotees ask Mahaprabhu many times how to recognize a sadhu. What is the nature of a sadhu? And Mahaprabhu spoke on different occasions about the nature of the Kanishta, neophyte, the nature of the Madhyam, intermediate devotee, the nature of the Uttam, topmost devotee. So Krishna explained these things, and also Mahaprabhu explained these things. So we should understand, therefore, it's very important to know how can we understand the nature of a sadhu. The first thing we have to realize is that by our own material intelligence, we cannot properly recognize the sadhu. Why? One sadhu can recognize another sadhu. Nadeva deva marchayat. Unless we have divine qualities, how can we recognize those divine qualities in others? We heard how a thief looks upon everyone else as a thief. So it's very difficult for us to understand who is a sadhu. But by taking shelter of Hari Guru Sadhu Sastra, and by hearing proper Hari Katha, then we can try to understand, or we can get a glimmer or a glimpse of the nature of a sadhu. This means that we should not use our own speculation or sentimentality to think, oh, this is a sadhu, look how nice they appear, look how eloquently they speak, look how sweet they deal with everyone. You cannot simply judge a sadhu by the external behavior. Rupa Goswami speaks in the 6th verse of Upadeshamrita, Drishtva Svabhava Janitasya. The Drishtva Svabhava, that you may see externally they have harsh characteristics, or they're not so beautiful, or they have some swabhav, like some difficult to understand nature, some material kind of so-called fault. But still, that is only a test for the conditioned souls to see their faith. Like the Ganga has foam, mud, and some people, there's garbage there. So people think, how is this transcendental holy river? But we should never question or doubt. It is said, Brahma Dravatvam. Ganga Devi is always coming from that absolute spiritual existence, Brahma Drava. She is Krishna's own divine form in that form of the river, or the Lord's own, it's manifested from His own divine body. So we should never have doubt. Similarly, the sadhus, they may not always appear externally so, like we think, oh, sadhu, like Purity tells the story, we go to the doctor and we say, oh, the doctor should look like this, the doctor should look like that. This isn't a good doctor. But we should approach the sadhu for spiritual treatment, not to try to treat them or try to judge them. Otherwise, we'll become cheated. We think, oh, this isn't a real sadhu, I'll go to another sadhu. But the sadhu will test. We heard many stories about this. How one person worshipped Shiva, praying for a boon. He was very sick, and Shiva said, go to this crossroads at midnight, and whatever you find there, you drink it. He went there and he saw some dead snake being eaten by worms. He thought, how can I eat this? The next day he went to Shiva, and Shiva said, you didn't take it? He said, how could I take it? He went again. He said, go again. He saw a donkey passing urine. He thought, how can I drink this? Shiva said, I was giving you my amrita, nectar from my kamandulu, my kalash, my divine pot. I was pouring it out for you. Because of your material mentality, you could not see the truth. So therefore we should hear, instead of trying to understand from our own vision, we should try to understand from the vision of pure sadhus. And how can we do that? Srila Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada said in his Upadeshavali that we should always take shelter of sadhus and in their association hear Harikatha. So I'll try to repeat a few of the stories Prabhuji likes to tell about the nature of a sadhu. And by hearing these stories we can try to understand a little bit what is the nature of a sadhu. Yesterday we heard a little bit about Dhruva Maharaj and Sakam Bhakti. So the first thing Krishna asks, or Arjuna asks, is how does a sadhu speak? You can first try to recognize a sadhu by how they speak. Stita diking pravaseta. How do they speak? So there's a verse in the Bhagavatam that Prabhuji likes to quote, and Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj likes to quote this slok so much. When the devotees went to him and he had adopted a Maun Vrat, he was not speaking with anyone because he was displeased with some of the behavior of the people around him. But then when the sadhus came, then he spoke with them and he said this verse. And Prabhuji likes to say this verse often. That is, Tatho dutsanga utsrija satsu sajjet sabuddhiman sante vaisha chindanti mane agasam muktivi. What does that mean? That first, the nature of the sadhu is that they always give up wicked materialistic association. Tato dusanga utsrija. They always reject such association. Mahaprabhu said that Mahaprabhu would not even go to meet with the king, Prataparudra, even though he was a great devotee, just because he was in that kingly position of a materialist, of an enjoyer, then Mahaprabhu said, I will not meet with him. So, Tato dutsanga utsrija sajju sajjet sabuddhiman. You should be buddhiman, intelligent, like Krishna says in the Gita, Buddhi Yoga. And then what do? Santa evaisha chindanti. The sadhus cut through our material attachments with their speech. The sadhus aren't acting or trying to just please the minds of enjoyers in this world. That's not how they speak. We think, oh, sadhus should only speak in a way that makes me happy, that pleases my mind. But that's not the nature of the sadhus. It is said, Satyam bruyat, apriyam bruyat. You should speak the truth even if it is unpalatable. And Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada says in his Upadeshavali that if you think, oh, a guru should always be speaking pleasing words to me, he should never discipline me, or never. The sadhu are the doctors, and what does the doctor do? They have to, if you have a gangrene, then they have to cut that out with a scalpel. So it is said, Sante vaisha chindanti. What are they doing? They're cutting through our anarthas, they're cutting through the gangrenous disease of material attachments, and removing that. It is also said, Om jnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuramritam jena tasmai shri guruve namaha. What is the meaning of shalakaya? This means that person who, like when you have a cataract in your eyes, means you have like a cloudy film that is covering your eyes and it makes it so you can't see properly. Then what does the sadhu do? Shalakaya. They have that expertise, like an expert surgeon. They can remove that cataract from your eyes. That is the cataract of darkness, of ignorance, material attachment, illusion, material bewilderment. So the sadhu will remove that with the scalpel, with the sword. That said, the sadhus, with their speech, it is like a talvar, like a sword. And with that, they will cut all your material attachments away. That is how the sadhu speaks. Then they are also, like it is said, we shouldn't think they are only harsh, they only speak strongly, because that wouldn't be correct. We see how sweetly the sadhus speak, how sweet Harikatha they give. But if you don't give some strong Harikatha as well, then people will just become sahajiyas, only hearing Radha Krishna Ras Leela and intimate pastimes, but without any strong foundation, then this will only become sahajiya. Therefore, the sadhus will also speak very strongly to help us understand the difference between spiritual affairs of Radha and Krishna and material activities. So, therefore, Sante Vaisha Chindanti, therefore the sadhus will cut with their speech. And the best example of this, one of the best examples is Prahlad Maharaj. How did the sadhus speak? Prahlad Maharaj is a great example. Why? It shows, by his own example, we see that Prahlad Maharaj wasn't speaking to please the minds of materialists, not only materialists, his own father. Generally you'll think, oh, your father asked you something, you should speak in a way that will please your father or your mother. You should honor your father and mother and follow their wishes. But when Hiranyakashipu took Prahlad in his lap and said, "Oh dear son, what have you learned today in school?" He knew that his father was the sworn enemy of Vishnu. He knew that Hiranyakashipu had taken a vow to try to destroy Vishnu and kill Vishnu. And his brother Hiranyaksha had already been killed by Vishnu. So he knew this. And he knew his father wouldn't be pleased if he spoke about Bhakti and Vishnu Bhakti or Krishna Bhakti. He knew he wouldn't be pleased. But he wasn't thinking, oh, my father will be displeased with me and he will yell at me or he will beat me. He wasn't worrying about that. Prahlad Maharaj said, oh, I'll speak the truth. Because wherever you go, you'll find different kinds of people who want to hear different kinds of things. So if you always try to cater to everyone's desires, then you become their servant instead of the servant of truth. If you want to be the servant of truth, or Sadguru, Sad means Sandhini Shakti, pure truth. Sat. What is Satya? Satya is coming from Sad, which means the truth. And Sadguru is established in the truth. And if you want to be the servant of truth and the servant of Guru, then you can't always be worrying about what material people will think when you speak the unvarnished truth. So therefore Prahlad Maharaj said, what did he say? Tat sadhu manye asura varya dehinam sada samudigna diyam asatkrahar hidvat mapatam grihyamandakupam banam gutoyan harimashurayata. Hiranyakashipu asked, what is the best thing you've learned in school? And immediately he began speaking Harikatha. He was just a 5-year-old boy. But because he had gotten the best training possible, who's training? Narad Rishi's training. Narad Rishi had trained him. He had heard Harikatha for 60,000 years in the womb of his mother, in Satyuga. So you can imagine how pakka he was, how strong. Also it said, when you're in the womb of the mother, then there's no Maya there. Maya means samsara, vasanas, material attachments, family attachments. That Maya isn't present there. So in the womb, free of the taint of Maya, like Sukadeva Goswami stayed in the womb of his mother also, Kritika said, I don't want to come out. Why? Maya is everywhere outside. In the womb, it's like you're protected. You're in a little cave, all alone. And even in the womb, you can have darshan of the Lord. So once you come out, then Maya is there. So Prahlad, he heard Harikatha like this, and when he came out, he had heard Harikatha for so long, and he became so fixed in this. And also he was like Swarup Shakti's own messenger. Prahlad Alad Dhaine. He was coming from Ladini Shakti, Srimati Radhika's mercy. Swarup Shakti's mercy. She is Ladini. So this name Prahlad is no coincidence. Narad Rishi gave him this name Prahlad. Like Ajamil's son was given the name Narayan by a sadhu. So Narad Rishi gave the name Prahlad. Prahlad means he was always giving Alad, Ananda, bliss. But how can we give Alad unless that's coming from Ladini Shakti? So we should not think Prahlad was just an ordinary boy as well. Then the Lord sent Prahlad specifically to help deliver his dear associate who had become covered by this curse of the 4 Kumaras. So he sent Prahlad thinking, oh, this was the first birth, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So he sent Prahlad just to help them. So Prahlad, he didn't think, oh, I'll act or speak just to please my father. He said, that sadhu manye, I think the best thing or sadhu thing. Sadhu means what is very nice or very good. Like sometimes when the gopis are dancing in the ras dance very expertly, then Krishna says, sadhu, 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 sadhu. It means, oh, very nice. And when Krishna does something very nice, then the gopis say, sadhu, sadhu, oh, very good. So sadhu means what is the best, what is expert or excellent. So therefore Prahlad Maharaj said, Tat sadhu manye, I think, or manye, I accept that to be the topmost learning. And then he said, oh asura varya dehinam, oh great demon. Immediately he dressed the father, he didn't say, oh dear daddy. He said, Asurya Varya Dehinam, oh topmost Asura. But the funny thing is, hearing that, Hiranyakashipu was, oh yes, he was a little happy. Why? The demons like this. You call them a big, powerful demon, then yes, they're happy. Yes, Asura Varya Dehinam. At least you're saying I'm the topmost of Asurya Varya Dehinam. But then he said, what did he say? So he was happy, but then he said, Sada Samudigna Ityam Asatkrahar. Why are you always restless if you're so great? Samudigna means you're always restless, always anxious, always disturbed. Sri Bhakram Goswami Maharaj would say that a person who should we think is more happy? A sadhu who is staying every night under a different tree with no possessions, niskinchan. No possessions, only the Lord's holy names. And their seva and their eternal bhakti.
Who is happy? That person or the person who is in a palace of gold with all opulence and all facility for enjoyment? Who is more happy? And Srivakam Goswami writes, the sadhu is always more happy. They are always peaceful. Shantim tyagat shanti nirantaram. If you renounce that which is material, which is like poison, you give it up, then you'll be happy and peaceful. And you accept Sri Krishna, who is Amrita Sindhu, the ocean of nectar, then you'll always be happy. And the other side, the person who is surrounded by opulence, sada samudigna, they're always worried, this person may come and steal my wealth. This person is against me, I must try to defeat them. This person said something wrong about me, I'll try to destroy them, speak ill of them. They're always anxious and anxiety only about their material situation. Therefore, they're never happy. And it's said in the Bhagavatam, no matter how much you accumulate, wealth, like heavenly damsels, if you become the king of the world, the king of the universe, still that can never satisfy the calm or the lust of a sense enjoyer. It only increases like a fire. You think, oh, I'll put out the fire by adding ghee to it. There's a blazing forest fire, and instead of doing samsara dhavanala nadalidaloka, instead of getting the shower of Guru's mercy in that form of rain that will extinguish the material forest fire of sense of calm. What is that forest fire? We say we're in the samsara dhavanala. We're in the forest fire of material existence. But what is the cause of that forest fire? We're in a forest fire, but what started the fire? After firefighters come and extinguish a fire, then they start to research what started the fire, to try to stop it from happening again. So what started this fire of samsara dhavanala? What does Krishna say? Krishna says, Kama esha krodha esha rajaguna samubhava mahasana mahapapa vidyani mehverinam. This is a great fire. What is that fire? Kama esha krodha esha. From lust develops anger when you cannot satisfy your desires. And this turns into a huge blazing fire which is burning in all directions. So that samsara dhavanala, that fire of samsara that is always causing us the pain and the tritap, three kinds of pain that comes to us, three kinds of fire, adhyatmika, adhibautika, adhidaivika. It means problem caused from our own mind and senses, from others, and from natural forces. But where are these fires coming from? Only from our own calm, our own lust and our own anger and greed, madness, mad, matsarya, envy, all these things. These are the cause of this fire of samsara. So therefore, sada samudigna, therefore you're always restless, Father. Why? Dhyam asadgrahat. Asadgrahat means you're always trying to acquire that which is temporary and false. The story is there of one time a king was asking all his ministers, what is Maya? What is Maya? The king asked all his ministers, what is Maya? And no one could answer. They all tried to give all these different long answers. He said, I want a short and simple answer. Finally, some sadhu walked into the assembly, and the king said, what is Maya? What is Maya? And he ran up to a pillar, like you can see a pillar, and he grabbed hold of it. And he started shouting, let me go, let me go, let me go. The king was like, why? You pagal, crazy. Why are you shouting? You're holding onto the pillar so tightly and calling out, let me go, let me go. Why are you doing like that? Then the sadhu released his arms and said, this is Maya. We're grabbing hold of it so tightly and saying, let me go, let me go, let me go. This is Maya. Give it up. It is said, like, how do you catch a monkey? If you want to capture a monkey, you get a clay pot with a small hole at the top and put many sweets inside of it, like bananas. And then the monkey will come, make it big enough so he can put his hand in it, just like this. So it's very small. And then he'll put his hand in it and grab the sweet or the banana and try to lift it out. But then he can't lift his hand out because there's only enough room in the hole for like the hand to be very small, like his fist. When he had the sweet in his hand, the banana in his hand, he couldn't lift his hand out. And then, oh, he's easily caught. This is Maya. We are trapping ourselves in Maya. So therefore, sada samudigna dhyam asatgrahat. We are trying to acquire what is temporary and false and has no relation to the Atma. And we think, I'll be happy by this. But this is only our foolishness. Like we heard yesterday, people do such difficult austerities, and ultimately they pray, oh, let it be that whatever I touch turns to gold. And then, by that, ultimately, they perished. The sadhus give the example of the silkworm who's trying to make such a big samsara. Samsara, what does it mean? Joshit. Joshit means that which increases the field of material activities. This is the nature of Joshit. Stri Sangha. It's only increasing our material entanglement. we're only increasing our samsara. It said that, oh, if we can live, Shukadeva Goswami says, are there no trees where you can sit under for shade? Is there no rivers where you can drink water from? Are there no fruits fallen in the forest? Can you not use your elbow for a pillow and sleep there? Are there no dry leaves to use as a bed? Why are you trying to increase? Oh, I need a palace, now I need a car, now I need 2 cars, now I need 1 phone. No, 1 phone's not enough, now I need 2 phones, 3 phones, 1 computer, 2 computer. We're not satisfied. We want more and more and more. Then, oh, asadgrahat. We're trying to acquire these things more and more, and the more you acquire these things, the more they cause you distress. So Prahlad said, asadgrahat, hitvatma patam grihamandakupam. Therefore you have fallen into this dark well of material existence. Andakupam, where you're lost in darkness. Like you walk along. What is this also? What is the meaning of andakupa? People don't want to hear these things, but we have to speak the truth also. Why? Prahlad Maharaj said, Sante Vaisha Chindan. Prahlad Maharaj speaks the truth, and Bhagavad Gita would say this, Prabhuji would say, Sante Vaisha Chindanti. So what is andakup? Hitvatma patam griham andakupam. Griha andakupa. He doesn't just say andakupam, he qualifies it. Andakup, the dark well of material life is, what is its nature? Griha, Griha Medi. If you read Prahlad Maharaj's instructions, especially to the schoolboys, 20, 30 verses of these are only very strong verses about materialistic family life. On one hand, you have pure spiritual family life, but it's very difficult to do that. And we see Bhaktivinoda Thakur as the example of that. But even later, he gave it up. And he was never attached. We hear how Bhagavad Goswami Maharaj's mother was a sadhu in family life. So, Jai Dina Grihe Bhajana Deki Grihe Te Goloko Bhai. But Thakur said that in that home where I see they're always worshipping Krishna, and all their activities are centered around serving Krishna, Yat Karosi Ratanasi, whatever they are doing is for Krishna's pleasure, and that is not different from Goloka Vrindavan. But 99.9% of the people in this world are not like that. What to speak of people who are in Vaishnavism, who are really following proper Grast Ashram, who are properly following Brahmacharya Sannyas. So really we can, if you go to find faults, then Ganaite dosha gunaleshanapayigo jhavatuhu korovi vichar. We pray to the Lord in Madhavahe bahutaminati koritoy. If I try to determine, if you are trying to count my faults, there's no limit. Gunaleshanapayigo jhavatuhu korovi vichar. Therefore, oh please accept me. I am very low and fallen, but please you accept me and purify me. But still we should try to gradually purify ourselves. Andakupam, griham andakupam. What else does the Bhagavatam say? What is andakupam? Yopayati shenermaya yoshit deva vinirmitam tomik chitatmano mrityum trinam kupam ivavritam. Krishna says this verse. Yopayati shenermaya. What is Maya? Maya appears in the form of attractive woman. Yopayati shenermaya. Why? The jiva goes from tatashta shakti, from the marginal region, the shoreline between the material world and the spiritual world. And we choose to come towards Maya and to leave Krishna. Then what we get? We become covered by Purush Bhav. Purush Bhav means the desire to enjoy Krishna's Shakti. I want to enjoy Krishna's divine potency, which is Krishna's feminine counterpart. So then we get a male form, and then what do? We try to enjoy. And what does Krishna do then? Krishna creates woman in the form of Maya, in the form of woman. Yopayati shaner Maya yoshit deva vinirmitam. We should not question Krishna's statements in the Bhagavatam. The dharma of the sadhu is to speak as Krishna speaks. Srimad Bhagavatam pramanam amalam. So this is from the Bhagavatam. Yopayati shaner Maya yoshit deva vinirmitam twamikshitatmanam mrityum trinam kupa ivavritam. So the first anartha was that we left Krishna. We had no desire for his service. We turned away. We had that choice to go to Krishna's divine realm or to come to Maya. We turned and came to Maya. Then Krishna created this Yopayati Shaner Maya. Maya in the form of woman, attractive woman. And then what is it described to be? A grass-covered well. Trina kupam ivravritam. Trina means like grass. Why we say trinadi sunichena. So trina means grass. Trina kupam ivravritam means externally you're walking along the forest and you see a very nice patch of grass and little flowers. Oh, outside it looks so nice. How lush and green the grass is. And we think, oh, let me go and I'll just lay down a little on that nice patch of grass. The other areas don't look so nice. a little bit like patchy, a little bit yellowish. But there's a very nice patch of grass, very green, lush, vibrant, with flowers. So we think, let me go up on that. As soon as we step on it, then you fall into the andakup. Then that you fall through that, it's just a trap. But this is not anyone else's fault. This is our fault. We should not try to blame others. This is our choice. We want to enjoy enjoy. Krishna hasn't made this to make us suffer. This is its nature. It's swabhav. You cannot change something's swabhav. It's inherent nature. The inherent nature of trying to enjoy in this world separately from Krishna is that you must suffer. Because one living entity is trying to always fight with another living entity. Jiva jivasya bhojanam, jiva jivasya jivanam. They're thinking, oh, we'll meet together and be happy together, but day and night they're fighting and disturbing each other. We see, what is the divorce rate? 3 out of 4 families, are getting divorced, even devotee families. And again remarrying. Gurudev would say, not only one time marrying, again and again and again. 10, 11 times. Gurudev said, be satisfied. Whatever ashram you're in, be satisfied and do bhajan. Gurudev would say, don't always try to change one to another. Trina kupa vivavritam. This is a grass-covered well. So Prahlad Maharaj said, your griha anda kupa, griha means family life, and the blind well of family life. So he said, Hiranyakashipu, you think you're the master of the universe, but you're just the slave in the hands of a woman. Many women. Prahlad Maharaj said, if you read his later verses, you can read how harshly he spoke. He said, these such people, they think they have become so powerful, such great lords and masters, but they're just like dolls in the hands of dancing women. We see such big politicians who lose their entire careers just because of slight missteps, because of this attachment to Joshit Sangha, Stri Sangha. So therefore we have to be very careful. So Prahlad Maharaj said like this, Tiyamasat grihat hitpatma patam griyamandakop andakupam vanam gatoyat harim ashrayate. What's the way to get out of this situation? Vanam gatoyat harim ashrayata. You should try to leave that situation and take shelter of Sri Hari. Vanam gato. You should go to the Van. Which Van? Vrindavan. Where is Hari present? He said, Vanam gato yad harim ashrayata. Take shelter of Lord Hari. Go to the forest and take shelter of Lord Hari. So which forest are you going to find Sri Hari? In the Amazon forest. In the redwood forest of California. It's not possible. You want to find Hari, then go to Vrindavanam. Therefore we pray. Mahaprabhu would pray. We sing the song of Narottam Das Thakur. Mahaprabhu also wanted to go to Vrindavan. He said, why did Mahaprabhu say, I'm taking sannyas? I'm taking sannyas only to Mukunda Sevan Radha Koilar Nidhara. Se Vesh Ebe Giya Vrindavana Giya. That I've taken this vow of sannyas only to serve Mukunda, Sri Krishna, and taking on this attire, I have set off for Sri Vrindavan Dham. And we see all the sadhus, Narottam Das Thakur praised. When do we sing this verse? Hari Bol Boyara Madana Mohan Hari Bol. Oh, when will we sing in the names of Madan Mohan? Go to Sri Vrindavan. When will we go to Vrindavan and be able to become like the ankle bells and the feet of the gopis, always doing kirtan, singing Krishna's glories? That's a sweet kirtan. So, Prahlad Maharaj spoke like this, and then his father became very angry. He didn't think, oh, how can I speak in a way that will please my father? His father was very angry and threw him off his lap. Where did you learn this nonsense? And he called his teachers. And he asked him, what else did Prahlad Maharaj say? Oh, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Tasyam Sakyamatmani Vedanam. Yatipum Sarvita Vishnu Bhaktischenna Valakshana Kritya Bhagavad Gita Tanmanye Ditamuttamam. He spoke about the Navada Bhakti, all about worshipping Vishnu. Yatipum Sarvita Vishnu, worship Vishnu. And Vishnu was Hiranyakashipu's sworn enemy, so he was very upset. So then he called Sandanamarka, the Gurukul teachers, so-called Brahmins. Prahlad said, oh, Brahma Bandhu. Actually, Hiranyakashipu, when they came, then Hiranyakashipu was very upset with them, so he called them Brahma Bandhu. You're not even real Brahmins, you're only friends of the Brahmins. But he didn't know, you're not even Brahmins or friends of the Brahmins. What are you? Just Sandanamarka, just a lusty bull and a lusty monkey. So then he said, did you teach him this? They said, no, we never taught him this. We don't know where he learned it. We didn't do it, I didn't do it. They pointed at each other, it wasn't me. So then Hiranyakashipu said, Prahlad, hey, rascal, where did you learn all this nonsense? Then what did Prahlad say? Matirna Krishne paratasvato va mitopi patyate grihavratanam adanta gobir vishitanta vishram puna punascharvita charvananam. Those whose minds are not absorbed in the service of Sri Krishna, Matirna Krishna, then paratasvato va. If another materialistic person tries to help them think of Krishna, they cannot do it. By their own efforts, they cannot do it. He said, what are they doing? They're only chewing the chewed. It's like you can see when they make sugarcane juice. They put it through one time, through the machine. And then they put it through another time, and another time. And finally, what's left in the sugarcane? Not even one drop of sweetness, or sugar, or soda. And then you take that sugarcane, instead of taking the sugarcane juice, you just collect all that rubbish and like day and night chewing it. Chewing the chewed. And what is the other example? Like our acharyas sing this song. Oh, alas, Lord, I'm just like the camel that chews on the thorns in the desert. And then the thorns cut its gum in his mouth, and then so much blood comes out, and he drinks that blood thinking, oh, these thorns are very tasty. Nice, warm, salty blood. This is the nature of chewing the chewed. We're only causing pain to ourselves. Why did Prahlad Maharaj say like this? He said material sense enjoyment is just like this, chewing the chewed. He said, Yan maitanari grihamedi sukam hitucham. Kandutivan isaijan anhitadira. It said, oh, this material, like sex life, sense enjoyment, is just like scratching an itch. And you get like skin disease, you know. They say, what is the last thing you should do? Don't scratch it. You're scratching and scratching and scratching and scratching, and finally you scratch so much, all your flesh starts to peel off. So you think, I'm happy, oh, I'm scratching. This is so much happiness, but tolerate it. Dhira. Try to tolerate it, and then gradually it'll go away. And then you can take the medicine. But if you're taking medicine for the skin disease, and then you're always scratching it, then it'll never go away. What is the nature of people like this? People are only looking at the external, only looking at the skin. Like, not sentimentalism, skintimentalism. Only thinking about the skin. Oh, they are black, they are white, they are red, they are yellow, they are from this country, that country. This is only Maya, complete Maya. And this is only born of material sense desire from lust, anger, greed. Only looking at the external thing from lust. So such people can never be sadhus, Prahlad says. So then he says, Nate vidusvartha gatin hi Vishnu durasya yabiha artamana andaya tandar upagiya manasteti satantriya buddhadhamni bada. He said, they will never be inclined toward worshipping Krishna or Vishnu. And they are following such gurus, like he was criticizing Sandanamarka. First he was speaking harshly to his father Hiranyakashipu. Oh, you're just fallen in this blind well of material family life. And then he called his two other friends, Sandanamarka, and then he started criticizing them. Oh, if you follow a guru who is blind and a cheater, then he'll just lead you into a ditch. Andaya tander upagiya manas. People think, I'll be guru, I'll be guru, I'll be guru, I'll be sadhu. But you don't know left from right, right from wrong, what to do, what not to do. And you say, follow me, let's go this way. It's like if you're in a dark forest or in a dangerous situation and someone's saying, I'll be the leader, follow me. They don't know what they're doing and they end up killing the whole party. Leading everyone into a ditch. So Prahlad said they can never help another person. They're just blind. Like Dhritarashtra. There's many different kinds of blindness. Dhritarashtra was said he was blind by birth, but more blind by moha. If he was blind by birth, but not blind by moha, material attachment, then it wouldn't have been so bad. But because he was blind by moha, his wife wasn't blind by moha. She was serving her husband, she was chaste, pativrata. But he was like this. He was always catering to the whims and fancies of his son Duryodhana, who was wicked-minded. He always was partial and biased to him. So therefore then, Prahlad Maharaj says, Naishang matistavaru rukramangrim sprisatyanartha pagama marartha mahiyasam padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam navridiyavataha. That you should, how can you then be saved from this situation? Chewing the chewed and being led by blind men, falling into the ditch and suffering so much there. How can you be saved from this situation? There's no other way, there's only one way. You must take shelter of those who are under the shelter of Urukramangrim. That Sri Krishna, who is Urukram, who is all the Veda stutis are glorifying him. That means he is Urukram. He is praised by all the greatest verses of the Vedas, the Sastra, and all the songs of the Acharyas, all of the writing of the saints are glorifying that Krishna. He is Urukram. So he takes shelter of not directly Krishna, takes shelter of those Vaishnavas, because he was against Vishnu, and also therefore against Vaishnavas. So he said, okay, take shelter of the Vaishnavas. Who is a real sadhu then? This verse is described, who is a real sadhu? He said, Niskinchananam na vniti yavata. Those who are niskinchan. If they are not niskinchan, they are not sadhu. Nirapeksha na hoy, dharma rakshana jai. Without being nirapeksha or niskinchan, you cannot follow dharma. So niskinchan sadhu means, like Gokishdas Babaji Maharaj, like Jagannathas Babaji Maharaj, like all our acharyas, they're all niskinchan. Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj was niskinchan. People would come to him, and he would very harshly sometimes abuse them. They would say, oh, why, this person you don't know? One time a person came from Delhi, and he was a crorepati. He was like a multi-millionaire from a very wealthy family and from a big corporation. And Trivikram Maharaj spoke very strongly with him. Oh, you brought your wife here, you're only enjoying in the dham, you don't know how to serve the dham, you don't know anything. And for like 20-30 minutes he was abusing him. That person then offered pranam and left. Someone came to Trivikram Maharaj, don't you know, he's like a multi-millionaire. If you just spoke a few sweet words with him, then he would give you $1 million. He said, what, you think I am servant of these people, servant of these men? I don't need anything. What do I need? If anything is needed, Krishna will provide it. And even that, Sanatana Goswami, when he was staying with Madan Mohan, serving Madan Mohan, he said, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I'm only Ha Devi Kakuba, like Hey Radhe Braj Devi Kechalalita Hinanda Sudnata. He was only wandering around in Vrindavan, serving under Srimati Radhika's guidance, looking where is Radharani, where is Lalita, where is Vishaka. Madan Mohan created this big palace, Madan Mohan temple, and raised so many servants, so many cows, and then Sanatana Goswami left. The sadhus don't need or want anything. They are niskinchan. Niskinchana kinchan. They follow Niskinchana Bhakti. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam's teaching. Param Nirmat Saranam Satam. They are Nirmat Sara Sadhu. Without any envy, material contamination, and they're always detached and neutral. This is the nature of the sadhu, and it's very difficult to understand. Srila Gokishdas Babaji Maharaj was a great example of this. And he also spoke on different occasions, very strongly, that what is the first, so we're trying to answer the first question, right? Arjuna said, how does the sadhu speak? Stita pragyasa kabasa, samadhi sasya keshava, stita diking prabhasita. This word prabhasita and stita pragyasa kabasa, both are connected. Basa means language. It also means like symptoms, or behavior, or nature. So kabasa, what is their basa, what is their language, what is their nature? And then king prabhasita, how do they speak? He asked these three questions. King prabhasita, king aseta, king brajeta. How do they speak? How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they walk? How do they sit? So therefore, how did they speak? Srila Gokishdas Babaji Maharaj. How did he speak? How did he reveal the difference between the real sadhu and the false sadhu? Because we're trying to recognize, Arjuna asked these questions to try to recognize the nature of a real sadhu. So when Gokishdas Babaji Maharaj was in Braj, sometimes some big Bhagavad Pandit would come and give Bhagavad Shabdas. We see in Vrindavan, every 20-30 feet, there's another Bhagavad Sabda sign. One after another, like 20-foot tall face. And Prabhuji says, like 100,008 Brahmalin. If you, like Prabhuji likes to say, like, why are you trying to give yourself titles? Serve God sincerely as the das, as a servant, and then God will arrange so many titles, back, in front, behind, this and that. But we try to arrange our own titles, then this is a sign that we're not a real sadhu. We are making the signboard saying 100,008 Brahmalin. Oh, Ashtastarasad is not enough. Why Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, his disciples, his followers gave him the Ashtatarasad title, 108, which is a very auspicious number. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he did not give himself the name Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was given this name. He did not give himself the name Saptam Goswami. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada did not give himself the name Saraswati Thakur or Bhaktisiddhanta. Paran Gurudev did not give himself the name Bhakti Pragyan. Gurudev did not give himself the name Bhakta Bandhav. Sadhus don't need to give themselves these titles. Prabhupada did not give himself the name Seva Ratna. Paran Gurudev did not give himself the title Kriti Ratna. This is given by the Guru or Sadhu when they are so pleased with your bhakti, with your devotion, with your seva, then you may receive this. But ourselves, we're giving ourselves these titles. And so these acharyas were coming, one after another, and people told Gokishnadas Babaji Maharaj, oh, go for Harikatha. Why aren't you going for Harikatha? Why aren't you respecting them? He said, Harikatha. He said, they're not chanting Harikatha. They're not chanting Harinam. What are they doing? Takata sikata, takata sikata, takata sikata, takata sikata, takata sikata. What does that mean? Taka means coins. Taka, taka. Kitna taka. How much taka? In Bengali you say, Kitna taka. So you say they're not chanting Harinam, they're not doing Kirtan, they're not speaking Bhagavatam. Takata sikata. Sikata means to count. So they're counting the coins. And they're looking at everyone. Said like a prostitute. Looking at, oh, this person looks like he's kind of wealthy. I better speak really nicely to them. Then they'll give me some good money. Oh, this person doesn't look so wealthy. I'll ignore them. Oh, this person looks nice. Let me speak nicely to them. Oh, how much money does he have in his purse? So they're always thinking like this, counting coins. So he said, they're not a sadhu. And externally, what do they do? Oh, greasy hair and polish, like Purdy says, oh, every day they go to the beauty parlor, 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, Delhi here and there. Oh, let me look very nice, so that everyone will be attracted to me. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada wasn't like that. When he went to his Brahmin and Vaishnava assembly, he was wearing one torn and tattered cloth. When he was doing, like at that time, he had finished his sadhana in Mayapur. So he was living very simply. This is like the sadhus, they live very simply. So, Gokishnadas Babaji Maharaj spoke like that. And later on, also, he didn't support another category of like the pandas. The pandas in Vrindavan, they were trying to, they always think, oh, we have to, if we show ourselves like we are providing facility for the sadhu. Gokishnadas Babaji Maharaj was such a great sadhu. Everyone understood his glory and they were trying to like attach themselves to him. Oh, we'll serve him, and then people will also give us money. Then we can say, like if we serve sadhus, then we can say, oh, give me money, I'm serving the sadhus. So they said to him, oh, we'll give you a nice bhajan kutir, we'll give you a nice room, we'll give you a place to stay, we'll give you food, we'll give you servants. He said, no, I am a free wandering bull. I don't want to be a baltu guy. He said, I don't want to be like your cow kept in your prison. I'm a wandering bull. Vicharanshil Sham means wandering around here and there peacefully, doing my Krishna bhajan. Don't try to capture me and keep me in your prison. And then, where would he beg Madhukari? Gokishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he would take Madhukari only from the street sweepers. He would go to the street sweepers, very low caste, and he would say, oh please, after the street sweepers, what do? They go house to house and clean the roads and clean in front of the houses. And then after they do that, then in the afternoon time they go and they beg alms from the householders. Why? They've cleaned the street, so then everyone is affectionate towards them and they give some roti, some sabji, and with this they maintain their life. So then after they do all the sweeping and then they would collect some alms, then Gokishnadas Babaji Maharaj would go to them and say, after they eat already, after they had already eaten, they would say, oh, give me a little bit please. And he would only take from them. They would say, no, if we give you all these pandas and goshais, will beat us to death. How you gave your remnants, how you gave your alms, you're such a low-class person, sentimentalist. They're only thinking about the external skin, like Sudras. This is the nature of a Sudra, only looking at the skin. He said you're like the cobbler, like the story of Ashtabhakra Rishi. He said you're just a cobbler, you're only looking at the skin. You're not looking at the Atma. If you're a real Brahmin, what is the nature of a real Brahmin? Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmani Gavi Hasani Suni Chaiva Svapakicha, Pandita Samadarshana. You're saying you're Pandits. Krishna says Pandit. Real Pandit is Samadarshi. They see everyone equally because they're looking at the Atma, the soul. They're not looking, this is a dog eater, this is a Pandit, this is a low-class person, this is a Brahmin. They can see through the external coverings to the soul, the Atma. This is also the nature of the Uttam Mahabhagavat. They don't see the external, only the external things. They see through to the nature of the soul and the swarup of the soul. So, Pandita Samadarshana, how are you a Pandit? The Pandits were saying, oh, don't take from the street sweepers. But Gokishnadas Babaji Maharaj, I'll only take from them, I won't take it from you. They said, we'll give you everything. He said, no. You don't have any seva, you don't have to do any seva for the Dham. You're staying on top of big cushions in your palace. And you're taking everything that comes for Thakurji. It's like, okay, one for Krishna, one for me. One for Krishna, one for me. We see people who do like this. There's a story in Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada's Upakyan Upadesh that one person was going out to the market to buy popcorn for his family. So he bought a big bag of popcorn and had to open it, wasn't closed at the top. And he was walking home to take it to his wife and children, then a big windstorm came. And it started blowing all the popcorn up into the air. And then he said, he started offering it. Whatever is flying up to the air, Hari, he was in the market still, Hari, take that, that is yours. He started doing a bhog offering. And whenever it flew up, he said, okay, that's Krishna's. And then he quickly closed the rest of the bag and put it in his bag and went home. He said, bhoga is complete. This is the nature of people like that. Pandit, false Pandit, only collecting for themselves and saying, I'm doing Thakurji Seva, Sadhu Seva, give me 10% for sadhus, 90% for me. This is like false charity. Therefore it said, you should always know who is proper receptacle for charity also. Who is able to receive this. Otherwise you give charity to a person who is not qualified to accept it, then it will only lead to your own sinful reaction, your own karma reaction. So Goksh Das Babaji Maharaj was very strong like that. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, when he was taking prasadam, how would he sit and take prasadam? He would call all the little puppies. There's a story in his biography that one dog gave birth to a litter of like 6, 7 puppies. And he would tell his sevak Biharidas, at that time when he was over 120, he could only see if he held up his eyelids. He was so old. So he would hold up his eyelids, and sometimes his sevaks would have to hold up his eyelids. He was so old. But when he would take prasad, he would feel to count each puppy that they were eating on his own plate. He said, they are sadhus. The puppies were, and if the sevak sometimes tried to shoo them away and wouldn't let them take prasad, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj would say, hey, where did you send them off? Bring them back. They're dambasis. And then people would give him donations. And one time he took 200 rupees at that time, in the early 1900s, which was worth thousands and thousands and thousands of rupees now. And what did he say? Go and buy rasgullas. And he bought thousands of rasgullas. He thought, we'll have a big festival, invite all the sadhus. He said, now go and feed it to all the cows. Thousands of rasgullas, and he just fed it to the cows. He said, why you spent so much money? 200 rupees. At that time, 20, 30, 40,000 rupees. Who knows how much? And you fed it all to the cows. He said, no, I don't see any sadhu. They're all material sense enjoyers. They're all like so-called Babajis, enjoying with Matajis in the name of Krishna Bhajan. They said, what did the Babajis say? Sweet. They say in Bengali. Kai machli jol, sui romani kol, this is their saying. Kai machli jol, eat fish soup, like cook fish and eat fish. Sui ramani kol, sleep in the laps of your beloveds, enjoy with your many different ramanis, not only one. If I am in a grahastha life, I have to have one wife. And if I have adulterous affairs, people will beat me and kick me out of society. But if I'm a Babaji, I'm already outside society. Then I can have many Matajis. One day Mataji, next day Benji, next day Priyaji. And no one will say anything. So Jagannath Das Babaji said, I won't give them anything. They're not real sadhus. So we should understand what's the nature of real sadhu and not sadhu. How does the sadhu behave and speak? But it's also said we should not try to imitate such sadhus like Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. When I take prasad, I'll call all the puppies in Vrindavan and they can eat with me. Gurudev said you shouldn't try to imitate. Gurudev said like that. So don't try to imitate the activities of Mahabhagavats. Only try to serve them. So this is example of then how the sadhus speak. Right? Then how do the sadhus walk? King asita brajeta kim. Brajeta means how do they walk about? Braj. Brajati gachati iti braj. What is moving around, that is braj. So brajeti means how do they walk? So how do the sadhus walk? In a few verses later, Krishna says, Yani sa sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sangyami yasyam jagrati sangyami sani cha pashyato mani. That when everyone else is sleeping, the sadhus are awake. And everyone else is awake, the sadhus are asleep. We see in this world, people think, okay, I'll work all day, and then at night I'll go and party. And then I'll sleep late. Like people, they work hard on the weekdays, and then on the weekend, they stay up at the pub and drink, or they go to a rave, and then they sleep in till 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday. Enjoying all night. So the sadhus, you can say, how do they walk? And you can also say, when do they walk? So when do they walk? We see. When does Prabhuji go on Parikrama? People think, why doesn't he go at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock? Why do you have to go at 2 in the morning? It's very difficult to follow them. Why? It's said in the Gita, sadhus follow Krishna's Vani. Krishna says, Yani sa sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami. The wise sage, samyami, when everyone else is sleeping, Yani sa sarva bhutanam. When most living entities are in the lap of sleep. Not only human beings, but most animals are also sleeping at night. But then the sadhus wake up very early, 2 in the morning, before Brahma Muhurta. Before Brahma Muhurta they wake up because in Brahma Muhurta, Nishanta Lila, you have to be serving already. So before you serve in Nishanta Lila, it said the Manjalis wake up before Radha and Krishna. And they bathe, dress nicely, and prepare for service. And the sadhus are also like that. It said, real disciple goes to sleep after Guru and wakes up before Guru. Why? Because when Guru is taking rest, they're massaging the feet and serving. And then before Guru gets up, they have to prepare services. Like Puruji would serve Srila Trivakram Goswami Maharaj. And he would wake up very early and do anik before Mangalarti. Like Brahma Muhurta time, he would sit to do his anik. And then Puruji would wake up even more early. Why? He had to cook. Because Trivakram Goswami Maharaj would say, where's the anik? Where's the anik? We said, what do you do when you do anik? When you do anik, you're serving the Lord, you're serving Guru, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, all the Guru Varga, all of Nityananda and Mahaprabhu's associates, Radha Krishna, all their associates, you have to serve everyone. You do the 16 kinds of paraphernalia and service, like we serve Katyani Vrat. You give nice cloth, a nice bath, nice prasad, that's seva. You look at all the different kinds of archa. What are we doing now? Like they're bathing shalagram, dressing the deities, and afterwards they'll give them a nice breakfast. This is seva. But Trivakram Goswami Maharaj is saying, where's the anik? What is that? Where's the breakfast? Because I need to offer something to Thakurji. So Puruji would get up even before that, very early, 2 in the morning, cook breakfast, offer it to Trivakram Goswami Maharaj to offer it, and then he would take Trivakram Goswami Maharaj would take breakfast. So we see the sadhus, they get up before everyone else and they're out on Parikrama. Gurudev said in Guru Darshan, Gurudev was thinking, I'm a young man, I'm very strong. And he saw his Gurudev, Param Gurudev was serving so much. And he thought, from morning, from Mangalarti till night time, he's sleeping after everyone else, he's serving all day. So he thought, I want to wake up before him so I can try to serve him. And he would wake up at like 3 in the morning. He would see already Param Gurudev was bathed, wearing tilak, chanting Harinam, finishing his anik. And then he would say, okay, now let's go out and start seva. And Gurudev would try to wake up earlier and earlier, and then we would see Param Gurudev already awake and engaged in seva. So then we hear, when Prabhuji was on Parikrama, we hear this story, that Gurudev would ask, oh, you see this, once time, in British Mandal Parikrama, he said, you see this sadhu on the other bank of this, I think, Pavan Sarovar or one of these kunds. He said, on the other side of the lake, all night he's been crying out, Ha Radhe, Ha Krishna, Ha Gurudev, doing kirtans, crying, chanting Harinam. All night he hasn't slept, he's only doing bhajan. How great of a sadhu he is. The sadhus never sleep. And even when sleeping, they're absorbed in Astakaliya Lila Seva. Chapan Danda Ratri Dine, Janina Radha Govinda Vinte, Chari Danda Sudhi Take, Swapne Vina Govinda Deke. That Chapan Danda Ratri Dine, they're only engaged in service. Janina Radha Govinda Vine. They don't know anything but Radha Govinda Seva throughout 22 and a half hours of the day. Chapan Danda. And then for 1.5 hours or 1 hour, they take rest. But what are they doing when they're resting? Then, Chari Danda Sudhi Take, Swapne Radha Govinda Deke. In their dreams, they're serving Radha Govinda. They're serving Guru, Vaishnavas. So it said, real Vaishnavas, they're never sleeping. Prabhuji said before, oh, what is my favorite time of the day? The best time of the day is rest time. Because then, you don't have to become restless. What does restless mean? Restless means with less rest. Rest less. So we become restless when people are always disturbing us. Then we become restless. Oh, do this for me, do that for me, do this, do that. But when we are resting, then we can only be serving Radha Govinda and Guru Vaishnavas without any disturbance. Only serving those Nitya Parikars who are not in this material realm. They are in the transcendental realm, and when we are resting our bodies, then by the Atma, we are in that Golok Vrindavan serving. That is the nature of the sadhus. They're always there serving. We hear many examples of this, of the different acharyas. How even when they appear to be sleeping or sitting in meditation, they're serving in Krishna Lila. So we see how the Vaishnavas, one thing is, how do they walk? How do they walk? Well, then you can say, how much do they walk also? When? They said, King Aseta Brajeta Kim. How do they walk? So then we see, by the nature of the sadhus, when do they walk? They love to go on Parikrama. They love to go on Parikrama. We see all the sadhus, not just Prabhuji, Gurudev, For 60 years, Gurudev was walking everywhere in Braj Mandal. When he went to the west, every day he would go on the morning walk. We see, not only that, Param Gurudev would go on tour all over the different dhams, walking everywhere. We see Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Not only would Bhaktivinoda Thakur walk, he would ride the horse from village to village. He'd ride horses village to village to set up Namhatta programs. They're always very active. This means, how do they walk? How do they move about? They're always very active and engaged. We see Mahaprabhu. How did Mahaprabhu walk? Mahaprabhu took sannyas, went to Jagannath Puri, then immediately, within a few weeks, he started traveling all of South India, all of that area of India. For 6 years he was traveling, walking non-stop. And then to Vrindavan, going through the Jarikanda forest. Not only Mahaprabhu, we see, how much does Krishna walk? Krishna himself, like, from Krishna's example, from Radharani's example, Mahaprabhu's example, then from their own nature, then all the sadhus are also following that. Krishna is every day going out behind the cows, doing gocharan, from forest to forest, for like, since from like 8:39 all the way till like 4:35. Walking. And Radharani, what does Radharani do? First of all, she's in the kunj. Like you start from Nishanta Lila. From the kunj they get up and they quickly run back to Javad. Then from Javad quickly they take bath, quickly they dress. Why I said, what is the nature of like brahmachari or brahmacharini? It said they should do like kaksnan. They bathe like a crane or like a crow. Like very quickly, just throw water on top of you, dress and go. They're ready to go. Like with Prabhuji. If you want to go with Prabhuji, then you have to be like very sharp, very fast. Not wasting a single moment. So Radharani, then she's coming from the kunj to Yavat, then taking bath and getting dressed by the Sakis, then immediately walking all the way there from there to Nandagam, then cooking everything very fast. When you're cooking, you have to walk from one pit to another, 500 fire pits. Here we have 3, and we see how big the kitchen is. You imagine with 550, how big is Radharani's kitchen? And she's going from one place to another, moving like Krishna when he's in the Ras Leela. It said Krishna was moving so fast, it appeared like a firebrand, like lightning. We can imagine how Radharani is moving in the kitchen very swiftly with all the manjaris, all the sakis. You can imagine that scene, how beautiful the scene that is. That's why we're trying to serve in this Leela, in this world. We serve in a way that we can try to enter that world. When we are cooking, Radharani is cooking. When we are on parikrama, Radharani is on, Krishna's on parikrama. That's why Gurudev, when he would go on the morning walk, at that time Radharani is going to Nandagram, and Gurudev would speak about this katha. So we're trying to absorb ourselves in these pastimes and follow their example. And not to be lazy, that's also the example. We should not be lazy. It said laziness only makes your material lust and anger increase more and more and more. If you're always active in seva, you have no time to think about lust, anger, greed, any of these things. From one seva to the next, chanting Harinam seva, taking Mahaprasad seva, going to Arti seva, Kirtan seva, Harinam, Anek seva, cooking, cleaning, Grantha seva, so many sevas. And when you're actively engaged in this, but if you're lazy, you think, oh, let me just sleep a bit more. And you roll, oh, the alarm clock goes off, turn it off, and you roll to the other side. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada tells a story about Tishu and Pishu. So there were 2 friends who were sleeping in a house, and they were so lazy, they were in this house that the government provides as like welfare for the most lazy people in society. And so the king, there's a story in the kingdom, and the king said, go and find the most lazy people in this kingdom, and we'll make a separate ashram for them, for only the lazy people, and we'll keep them, like, why it becomes like an infection. If you let them live out in society, they'll infect everyone else. Like one bad apple and a bushel of apples will make the whole basket rotten. So we said, let's collect all the laziest people and put them in a house, and we can feed them and keep them enclosed, like zombies. We don't want to let them out. Keep them there, feed them nicely, take care of them nicely, and then they won't be a disturbance to everyone else, and we should also take care of them nicely. So they were collecting this, and so he sent out his messengers to find the laziest people. And they came to one place, and as he was going about, he saw, like, he tells the story, like a building was on fire. And 2 people were inside the building. It was just starting to catch on fire. So he went inside. He was seeing from the window. He said he saw from the window. And the fire was just starting. And there was 2 people. Their names were Tishu and Pishu. And they were so lazy, it said that day and night they were just sleeping. And whenever they wake up, it's like Kumbhakarna. Sleep for 6 months, you wake up just enough, with just enough time to eat, and then fall back to sleep. In Bengali they have a saying, Kajer madhye dui, kayar sui, maje maje jagi, ektu hagi. What does it mean? Kaje madhye dui. I have two kinds of work in my life. Kaje madhye dui. Two kinds of work. Kayar sui, to eat and to sleep. And then maje maje jagi, after I'm sleeping for a long time, occasionally maje maje, in between I get up and ektu hagi. I pass a little bit of stool. This is the Bengali saying. You can ask Madan this one. Kaje madhye dui, kayar sui, maje maje jagi, ektu hagi. Hagi means to pass stool. Ektu means a little bit. So this is our work in life. This is our duty in life. How much can we eat? How much can we sleep? And then occasionally we have to get up, pass stool, and that's why in the West all the bathrooms are inside the rooms. Because we don't want to go far. Before, the outhouse would be out of the house. Before it was called outhouse. Outhouse means outside the house. But then people thought, oh, who wants to go outside the house to go to the bathroom? Let me make it an in-house. Then they changed the name from outhouse to bathroom. And so what do people do? They wake up after eating and sleeping for 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours. They get up, they sit on the toilet, and they open the newspaper. Nowadays they open Facebook, start scrolling, and like 10, 20, 30 minutes on the toilet, reading a novel, you go to the rooms, the bathrooms, and the bathrooms are very nice. You see, you can understand how much of an enjoyer a person is by the state of their bathroom. In the bathrooms in the West, they have big, lush carpets, Even on the toilet seat, there's a carpet. I want my butt to be on a nice soft cushion. And they have a telephone by the side of the toilet. And they have a TV in front. And in the bathtub, they also have another TV. So when they watch there, they can finish their Netflix movie in the tub. They started on the toilet and they finish it on the bathtub. So then they soak in the bathtub for like 1 hour, 1.5 hours. And then become like a pickle and then they get up. So kaje madhye dui, kayar sui, maje maje jagi. So tish ektu hagi. So material family household life means how can we make a perfect situation for our sense enjoyment? Nice bathroom, nice bed. Hiranyakashipu means soft bed. Hiranya means gold, right? So Tishu and Pishu were sleeping, right? And the fire was getting very hot, it was starting to increase. And so he saw Tishu and Pishu. Tishu said to Pishu, oh Pishu, it's getting very hot. But they didn't want to open their eyes because they're very lazy. Even opening the eyes is like hard work for such lazy people. So Tishu said to Pishu, oh, it's getting very hot, the sun must have risen. He said, close the windows, close the shades. I'm very tired. Then Pishu said to Tishu, don't worry, just roll over on the other side. Let the sun warm up one side, then roll on to the other side. They're so lazy, they thought, oh, the sun has risen, it's morning time now, the sun is getting high in the sky, therefore it's getting hot. They were so lazy, they didn't even want to open their eyes and see that the house was on fire. Then, by the time they realized what was going on, they said, oh, whatever. We have to die tomorrow or today, let it be today, no problem. But I don't want to get up. So, it said, how do the sadhus walk? This means we should try to follow the path of the sadhus. We should try to follow the path of Mahaprabhu, Guru and Vaishnavas. How Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami is a great example of walking. He was like marathon, marathon. Every day you'd get up from Vrindavan and go to Mathura. From Mathura to Govardhan, so Vrindavan to Mathura, like 11, 12 kilometers. Then Mathura to Govardhan, like 20, 25, 26 kilometers. Then Govardhan Parikrama, 11 and like 8, 19 kilometers. Then back to Mathura, back to Vrindavan, another 25, 30 kilometers. Every day. Over like 100 kilometers, you could say. Right? What is it? 12 to Mathura, 25 to Govardhan, 37. Like, you get almost 20, Govardhan, like 45, 18, 45. Then again back like 30. Like 75 kilometers every day. You ready, Kundalat? 75 kilometers every day. It wasn't lazy. This is how the sadhus walk. We see Ramanujacharya, how he would walk, Madhvacharya, up and down the length of India. Rangababa. There was one sadhu named Rangababa. And he lived till he was like almost, maybe over 100. he stayed in Keshaji Gaudiya Math and he served Srila Tripurkram Goswami Maharaj so much, and Srila Gurudev also. And he was famous for walking. Why? Whenever he would have to go, like now we think, I don't want to go by train to Navadvip, it'll take like a day or two. Let me take a plane. But Ranga Baba, what would he do? He would walk back and forth. He would never take a train or anything like that. He would just walk. So the story is that one time, he left Navadvip to come to Braj because he wanted some Braj darshan. He was always doing seva there. So he went walking from Navadvip all the way to Vrindavan. That time, there's different jungle areas and forest areas. You don't know where you'll find food to eat, clean water. It wasn't like, there's a beautiful yellow brick road. At every stop there's like juice and nice hot pakoras and prasad to eat. No. You can imagine if you're walking for like 2 months through the jungle and forest, how would you survive? Raghunath Das Goswami, he didn't go on the main street, he went through the jungle, only took some buttermilk, barely ate at all. So Ranga Baba, he walked all the way to Mathura from Navadvip, took about a month and a half or so. But what happened is when he left Navadvip, Vaman Goswami Maharaj realized, they had one temple there in that area that they needed some sevaks. There was no one there. Some of the people had left. They said, they sent a telegram to Gurudev in Mathura that when Ranga Baba arrives, tell him we need him back. So the day he arrived, Gurudev gave him the telegram. Guru Maharaj is calling you to Navadvip. So he said, very nice. So he sat down, he said he took prasadam there, took bath, and he said, I've come all this way, let me do Prikrama very quickly. So quickly, within a few days, he did Govardhan Prikrama, Vrindavan Prikrama, Parshana, Nandagaon, all the different Prikramas. And they said, okay, Haribo. Then he started walking back to Navadvip. This is how the sadhus walk. They aren't lazy at all. So, then how do they sit? I think we'll hear about this the next time.
The story why lazy was open, even he was lazy open eyes.
Tishu Pishu, yeah. Ultimately they died.
Right.
Why? This is the result. So we should be very active in our life. We should always be, if we start doing seva, if we have developed the seva vritti, service tendency, then Radharani's energy will come into us. And she is Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti means any of that energy that we need in order to perform any action, Kriya. But if we're always lazy, then that won't come to us. That is said, if your Guru will give to those he sees, like if he sees someone is qualified, he will give everything to them. There's one short, 1 minute story about this. Guru sees, if Radharani sees that you're engaged in seva with service tendency, then she'll give you more and more energy to serve. If you're giving charity, like if you're serving everyone, like Prabhuji, then Lakshmi Devi gives more and more wealth. You don't have to worry about it. I won't have enough money. People say, how are you serving so many people prasadam without asking anything? Every day paneer, halava, kheer. Why are you doing this basmati rice? So the story is he took 2 disciples and he said he gave one 10 rupees and he gave one 100 rupees. And the boy he gave 10 rupees, he immediately went and spent it all on pakoras and sweets outside. And then he came back to Guru and asked for more. The other disciple, he didn't ask for anything and he took that and he invested it and then it became 1,000 rupees and he gave it back to Guru. He took the 100 rupees, made it into 1,000, gave it to Gurudev. The person who was given 10 rupees, he went and spent it in the market and ate it and came back and said, give me more. The other disciple came and brought back 1,000 rupees to Gurudev. Then his Gurudev gave him 10,000 rupees. He brought back 1,00,000. So then another story. Guru gave 1 rupee to each of 2 disciples. He gave 1 rupee to one disciple, 1 rupee to another disciple. And he said, okay, now I want you, he took him to his room. And he said, I want you to fill up this room with whatever you can bring from the market. So then he said, okay, go out to the market and bring something back. So the one disciple, he took this 1 rupee. He thought, this is such a big empty room. How can I fill it up? He was looking and looking, he couldn't find anything. You're not going to find 1 rupee worth of anything in the market to fill up a room. So he went to the dump, the garbage area, and he started collecting all the garbage. And he was very lazy, so he thought, I don't want to do all the work. So he hired a sweeper. He said, I'll give you 1 rupee. It was a long time ago, I'll give you 1 rupee to bring all this garbage and fill it up in this room. I don't want to do any work. So he gave the rupee to them, and they transported all the garbage into the room. He said, because the Guru said, here, 1 rupee each, and he had to give them 2 rooms, right? Because you fill up 1 room, you fill up 1 room. Why? Otherwise, they won't both fill it up half-half. So he said, so Guru came afterwards and started to see, okay, what have you done? So he saw the first disciple, he said, okay, he said, oh Gurudev, let me show you my room. I filled it up. It's very nice. So he opened the door, and as soon as the door opened, all the garbage fell out. Started falling out from the top. Gurudev jumped back. What have you done? Filled it up with garbage. You can imagine the smell, Even as they were approaching the room, the smell was coming out. And Guru's covering his face. So you took my rupee and you wasted my rupee, and now we'll have to spend 10 rupees cleaning the room. We'll have to engage all the people in the mind. You can imagine you fill up one of our big rooms full of garbage from the street. Then you have to take it all out, clean the room, bring cow dung and do the walls in cow dung. This is the nature of foolish disciple and lazy disciple. So then they went to the other room. They opened the door, and what was there? A candle and a match. Said, "Oh Gurudev, I bought this with 50 paisa. Here's the other 50 paisa." And they lit the match, lit the candle, and the entire room was illuminated. So this is Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya. Only when we take shelter of real Guru can he illuminate our consciousness with this divine knowledge. Chakshuraniritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurudev. Therefore we pray to Shri Gurudev for his shelter. This intelligence can only come from Shri Guru. Without taking shelter of Shri Guru, then we cannot get this intelligence. But how to take shelter of Guru? Without seva vritti is not possible. Tadvidi pranipatine pariprasne seva upadekshante jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. The tattvadarshi, self-realized sage, will impart knowledge unto you when he sees you are qualified and when you have developed this desire to pranipat pariprasna sevaya. Sevaya. When you do service, without being lazy and crazy, then Guru will give you all divine knowledge. This is how sadhus speak and how they walk. And we'll hear the next Gita class, how they sit. Panchakalpatarupasya kripasinubhevcha pitanam pavanam vishnayo namo namaha.
Is this live streaming? Before the morning class.